Great morning, franchisors, and welcome to this very special hangout with our special guest, Monty Hupsch from Aussie Web. Great morning, Monty. How are you?
Hey, I'm well, thank you. And you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. Now, I've invited Monty onto the show because Monty is the Google guru. He is a premier partner of Google's in Australia, and you are based in Brisbane, aren't you, Monty?
Yes, we are based in Brisbane. But we do
Excellent.
work Australia-wide, and we're now the longest-serving Google Premier SME partner.
Fantastic, which is why I've invited you on the show, because you know your Google stuff. Hence the Google Guru name. And Google has so many updates all throughout the year, and as a franchisor, I know you guys have so much on your plate that it's hard to keep up with. So I've invited Monty onto this hangout today to update us on. Monty, would you mind sharing with us your top 5 critical points that the franchisors should be focusing on over the next 12 months when it comes to Google and all the tools that is available to them from the Google platform to support them in their business?
Yep. I guess one of the key ones, and we're actually having a hangout with Google this afternoon where they're going to walk us through it, but they've now created a new thing called My Business, which is really not new. It's a reorganization of Google Plus Local, Google Places, Google Business, all the things that were released in the past. They're bringing all together under one dashboard to make it hopefully easier for us. So that we need to really talk about that, particularly for your franchises that are not mobile but trade from a physical location.
So
AdWords.
Can I just ask, Monty, from a franchisor's perspective, because they've got so many franchisees all across Australia, New Zealand, the rest of the world.
Yep.
How do they manage that? How do they even look at that to manage it, especially with things changing? Now that it is under the one My Business capsule, if you like, is that going to be easier for them to manage?
Well, even prior to the My Business, it was possible to upload an Excel spreadsheet to do bulk claiming and updates to your business presence in each location. But one of the cool, neat features of My Business is it does allow somebody doing that process to still allow individual administrators for each location so that they can do like a bulk upload for everybody to get them into Google Maps and Google Places, but they can then assign individuals in each franchisee or each franchisor to manage their page.
Oh, fantastic. So it can be set up from a head office perspective, but it can be managed from an individual location's perspective. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Yes, set up head office, managed locally.
Fantastic. Excellent. Now, you've got a big section next on, what's the second thing that you really recommend franchisors to focus on over the next 12 months when it comes to Google?
Well, Google has significantly updated Google AdWords, which is, of course, their advertising platform. It's a competitive auction system where you pay to be found for searches. But the features that they've added to it, which are very, very powerful, and you'd be sensitive to them yourself, are the ability to target different devices. So it's now possible to specifically target ads to people that are doing searches on mobile devices. Understand, Google considers a tablet and a desktop the same. So when they consider mobile, they're really talking smartphone. So you can actually have ads that are triggered, so if somebody is searching on a smartphone, they'll see an ad different than if they were searching on a desktop. And that goes back to user intent. So if you're a locksmith and you see somebody searching on a mobile device, chances are they're locked out of their house or their car.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, not only can you select device, you can now select time of day. And again, in the case of our locksmith, if it's 10 o'clock at night, they're probably not interested in master keying their office building. They're more interested in getting in their home. And of course, for mobile devices, you have click-to-call ads so that the person can just press a button and it'll ring your phone right away. Google now actually even provides free 1-800 numbers for some people if they have enough volume of traffic so that the calls are free to the person making the call. And again, they've also expanded their their geographic or location targeting as well. So location targeting, device, and time of day are all three new elements in AdWords that need to be considered because they allow you to have more targeted advertising that's less expensive.
And that's always a good thing. Now, you also filled me in a little while ago on an update regarding the advertising on YouTube. Can you touch on that a little bit, please, Monty?
Yeah, YouTube advertising is really being pushed by Google, and for a number of reasons. One is it's mobile friendly to begin with, because every YouTube video streams and plays very nicely on mobile devices. It's extremely inexpensive for the most part, and they actually have an ad format now that says if the person does not watch at least the majority of your video, you don't pay for the click. So the person has to click on it, engage with it, watch for at least 15 or 20 seconds. You can actually specify sometimes the duration before you pay for it. So it's a very inexpensive but growing platform for advertising.
Absolutely, absolutely. And is that something that you help with outside? I mean, I know it's part of the AdWords suite, but that's something that you help clients with as well?
Yeah, please understand in the YouTube space, YouTube does not have to be what we're experiencing right now, Emma. It does not have to be talking heads of us talking back and forth as a video. And in fact, we're finding often what we're doing is just a voiceover of a series of slides and talking to the slides. So it's almost like a presentation without the talking head. I know that some people feel very concerned that the video has to be a talking head. And unlike an attractive person like yourself, they're shy to be on video. So they don't want to do that. Well, they don't have to. They can have a series of slides, narrate to the bullet points, make their selling proposition or their unique selling proposition, and then move on. So it's not necessary that it become a talking head video. And the other thing is some of them feel very concerned that the cost of the video production is high. They're thinking, television and commercial and 30, 60 seconds and hundreds or thousands of dollars. Again, that need not be the case. A narrated slideshow is more than adequate in many environments and can even be self-created. Or in the case of course, your franchisors and franchisees, they could contract to have it done for the whole organization and save a lot of money.
Fantastic. Now, we caught up a couple of weeks ago, Monty, and you filled me on something really, really exciting that you learned and wanted to share with lots and lots of people about research for franchisors, not just franchisors, but any business. But I'm particularly excited about this because I've got clients that can use this really, really well. So without further ado, can you tell us about the split testing that facility, basically?
Yeah, and Emma, I have to be honest, I would love to claim this one for myself, but it was a presentation I saw from the marketing manager from Disney. And Disney now uses Google AdWords as a testing environment for virtually everything. Subject headings for emails, names of their movies, characters' names, anything you can think of. They know that if they set up an AdWords campaign with keywords that they can split test ads and write different ad copy. The example I think I gave when we were together was Tim Ferriss, who wrote The 4-Hour Workweek.
Yes.
He originally did not select that title. It was something about outsource your life or something like that. But he was split testing different titles using Google AdWords as a testing and a research environment, kind of like you'd use SurveyMonkey, but in this case in a competitive space to see which message strategy received the most amount of clicks. And based on that, making a selection on again, selling strategies or things that you work with. So to us, Google AdWords is a testing environment. There's very little cost. If you do it directly with Google yourself, the only cost is the cost of the clicks. So you can have an inexpensive testing environment. Statistically, you need to have about 100 clicks to be statistically significant. And if you're only paying a dollar a click, that's $100 to find out whether a particular title for a book or message strategy is better than the other. There's no reason today to guess anymore. You can know.
So can we have a conversation about this, Monty, for the franchise industry? I'm just thinking some of the things that they normally do, like obviously they can test it for new products, but could we take it as far as testing it for locations, for new locations, going into new territories, that sort of thing?
Uh, Let me just go backwards to go forward. Obviously, new products is clearly one. We're sitting here now during the FIFA soccer in Brazil, and you can see that McDonald's is using different types of hamburgers for different countries.
Yes.
So in the future, different product service offerings can be tested by audiences prior to release. But yeah, location is an interesting one, because that one you'd be able to look at different environments. And people, you could target a geographic area and ask people which locations they would prefer for a new outlet to be. That's an excellent suggestion.
Yeah, yes.
Particularly in an either-or environment, they can't afford to do both.
Yeah, I'm even thinking for franchise groups that aren't currently in Australia or New Zealand that, are wanting to test the market. That is a really simple, cost-effective, straight-up test that they can do from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, you could even trade off different types of franchises and find out which ones resonate with Australia as a culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, Australian companies that are wanting to go into the American market, they can do that as well. I know some that have totally rebranded once they've been over there a few years because they need to rebrand for that different market. They could do that, come back a few years and test it first before they even go over.
Yep. It's an extremely powerful tool. I mean, it can be used in your personal life if you're just trying to figure out what to name your football club or your baseball club.
Exactly. Now, let's move on to the next section, Monty, the number 4 for you, which was apps. Can you take us a little bit into the background of apps? It's interesting with apps. There's some of my franchisors are totally against going into the cloud, and others are just, made that leap 18 months ago and are full on with Google Apps and are absolutely loving it company-wide. So can you tell us some of the benefits of using Google Apps for your entire company?
Yep. Google Apps provides you a number of different things for mobile people like yourself and myself, who tend to find ourselves in different countries and we need to access company data while we're traveling. And in fact, we may not have our tablet or our iPhone or our iPad or even our computer. We might be in an internet cafe, who knows, or on a friend's computer. At least we can access documents that we store in the cloud. And Google has gone to great lengths to understand our concerns about security. So they even have one of their apps is called Vault, which is a super secure encrypted environment. And don't get me wrong, Google's not the only solution in the app space. You can share documents online using something like Dropbox. So your audience of franchisees and owners who have concerns about the cloud, they're a generic security concern, and whether you're doing Microsoft 365 in the cloud or Google in the cloud or Zoho in the cloud, those concerns are going to be the same for everybody. Having said that, one of the things that is clearly more secure is the fact that you don't have to worry about patches and software upgrades when somebody does some malware or security issues on your PC or your desktop. Unless you've got a good virus checker and you're updating it all the time, you're seriously exposed. Where at least if it's in the cloud, Google or Dropbox or Microsoft is looking after the most recent patches and trying to ensure that your data is secure and uncompromised.
Absolutely, and it's I had an IT manager say to me once, look, if there was a security breach with Google, the whole world would know about it. It would be top of the news. And there's not a single article on, security breach at Google. So, it would be a big, massive deal if there was.
Yeah, and the other, I guess the other argument for cloud solutions is their collaborative nature. You and I can share calendars. And that allows staff to book appointments so we can see what people are doing. We can share documents, so if we're if we're all writing or editing a tender document or a submission, we can do that in real time rather than handing it around email back and forth with change tracking and all this sort of stuff. We can just do it on one document in the cloud. Same with spreadsheets and even presentations. So, and the cost of the applications are nominal, almost approaching zero if it's for an individual, and for a company, I think it's like $50 a year. So that's a lot cheaper than individual software packages. But the collaboration is what makes it a powerful, powerful environment.
Absolutely. Now, going from what we've just spoken about now, Monty, into our next topic, which is Hangouts, we were just having a conversation in the green room about, you know, that collaborative nature, but mixing that collaborative nature within an organization with Hangouts. Can you share a little bit about what we talked about then?
Yeah, it was interesting, Emma, in that, I mean, the data that I read as recently as 2 days ago was that 40% of our working time today is now spent on managing, sorting, and replying to emails, and that our email box is just, you know, inundated with stuff, and everybody's CCing everybody on it, and it's just a huge time-consuming activity. So a number of companies have made what I consider a fairly bold move, where they have virtually banned email and said to people, if you need to cooperate, collaborate on business activities, you must use Hangouts. As you would know, you get a Hangout audit trail because the video is recorded, so you can prove what was said and what was done. You can do a collaborative environment where you can have 3, 4, 5. My understanding is Hangouts now can support, in some cases, up to 15 participants.
Yep, absolutely.
So rather than play the email carousel, what we do is we send out the invite, we use Google Tools, we bring everybody to a Hangout, we talk through the issues, we resolve them at one time, once. It's historically there for the archive, and we're done. And it cleans out a lot of our email inbox.
And how great would that, not to have to deal with emails for 40% of your day anymore. So Hangouts, just to take a step back, Monty, a lot of people still aren't aware what Hangouts are. So we're actually in a Hangout at the moment. I'm in Toowoomba at the moment. Monty's in Brisbane. We're streaming this live on YouTube. It's recorded forever. And we use this tool. This is kind of my baby now.
Absolutely. You're the expert. I'm the Google guru. You're the Hangout honey.
The Hangout honey. Oh, I like that. So my company uses Hangouts to support franchisors and franchisees. So we run monthly company-wide meeting broadcasts to entire franchise groups. We also offer more boutique-style ongoing training and development, which is high-tech on this, but still high-touch. You know, you can actually see people and have a real conversation. And again, it's recorded, so you know the message is still there to refer back to. I've got clients that are now using it internally, like Monty was saying, with using it up. I don't know of any of my clients that are using it instead of email, but I think that's a brilliant idea. But using it for morning huddles with their area developers, which is, you know, that's really effective, and it's changing the way we communicate. People can't hide behind emails and their laptops anymore. There's no excuse.
Absolutely, I think it's wonderful. And I mean, extended beyond that, I mean, where you have already, you used it as a training tool, which is great, but you can also use it not only with staff, but you can use it with suppliers, and over time, because of the screen sharing and whatnot, easy to use it with customers.
Absolutely. I've actually just finished a whole series with a client who, they had about 40 suppliers, and you know, we're teaching the psychology of selling through Hangouts to their teams, but we weren't really touching on product, their actual product, and new staff had to get up to date on product. So we got their suppliers together and did some product training via Hangouts for them, and again, it's recorded for new staff in the future, which is, you know, how long would it take them to get around to see all new staff all the time? It's just, it's very effective.
And nothing is ever wasted. You can repurpose it. So like you said, the video is there for prosperity, but you can actually use a Hangout video in YouTube to use Google Translate and actually convert it to a text environment if you want. It requires sometimes a bit of cleanup, but it's not bad, and so you actually can get the basis of a document from the video.
Absolutely. I've actually got a someone in the Philippines at the moment who, because we've got new trainers coming on board, so I didn't want to have someone, sit there and listen to it all and type out the actual training videos so that we can train our trainers. We've translated it from YouTube, sent it overseas for them to clean it up, and then our new trainers have a fully documented training process.
Yep.
So,
Brilliant.
Yeah, lots of different ways. But, I mean, on the flip side of your original conversation, Monty, was that, deleting all emails, not using email and using Hangouts instead, from a marketing perspective, because it's all been about building your email database. It'll now be about building your Google Plus database, won't it?
Absolutely. And of course, those people that have moved their email service to Google in the cloud through Google Apps for Gmail, it won't be a Gmail account, it'll actually be their business account. And one thing that Google has also come up with just recently, which is worth noting, is they're now going to be a domain register, so you'll be able to register future domains through Google as well.
So that's a big bonus topic, Monty. That wasn't actually included in our agenda today, but that's got huge repercussions. Can you go into that a little bit on your thoughts on that?
It's just going to make it simpler for people that don't have to worry about having to configure MX, which is mail exchange servers and web stuff. It's just going to be a simple way for people to one-stop shop to record their domain, and you see part of Google Apps as well as free websites that they have in there as well. So if you're doing it for a not-for-profit or a sporting club or a charity, it's all in one place. It's all done for you, and it's all basically close or very close to free. I think the domains are a few dollars, but it depends on .com, .au, where you are. But it just makes life simpler and less complex for the average folk.
Exactly, and that's what Google's all about, making the complex simple. That's what they do well.
Yeah, simplify the user experience. Yep.
Absolutely. Now, Monty, I'm just going to summarize what we've covered today, because we've covered quite a lot in a short amount of time, and very powerful things. So first up, we've got changes to bringing everything, as in local and search and all that sort of stuff, all under My Business.
Yes.
Yes. We've got AdWords. You gave an AdWords update and a little bit on YouTube, so thank you for that. So make sure you check that out. Split testing, which is brilliant for testing going into new markets, or to testing new products, or even down to what they should be named, which is brilliant. An insight into apps and the security, and then we just talked a little bit about Hangouts and how to use that for your franchise. Now, if you would like to get in contact with Monty, how should they get in contact with you?
I'll give away our secret sacred website, which is AussieWebConversion.com. And Aussie Web is spelled AUSSIEWEB, conversion.com. That's our site that's about our AdWords and search engine optimization, the general things we do. But there's our 1-300 number there. There's also a form where you can fill it out. We'll call you at a time and date that suits you. So that's the best way to get in touch with us.